I I
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Asia and Pacific Affairs. In this episode today, we are going to talk about China and Argentina relations. In overall, maybe we can touch to the Latin America also, but today we will talk specially about China and Argentina bilateral relations. My guest for today is Juan Martin Gonzalez. He is an international analyst and a political consultant, advisor for Parlosur. He is from Argentina. Welcome, Juan. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Lokman. Pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you, Juan. Could you please tell us about the general bilateral relations between China and Argentina? What is the situation now?
Well, thanks for the invitation. First, we have like an historical account. We are now getting with the 50 years of the bilateral relation between People's Republic of China and Argentina. In the relation started in 1972, restarted because Argentina have already have relations with the imperial China, and then with the civil war, first Argentina recognized Taiwan as the official China government. We will say that Perón, Juan Domingo Perón, have an interest in views about China. He wasn't communist. He wasn't Maoist, but he was a man that studied geopolitical and global trends, and he saw the relevance that China will have in the 21st century. He got to send letters to Mao Zedong, and the relationship restarted in 1972. It was very limited in the scope, but in the 90s, with the liberalization of the Argentinian economy, with the president Carlos Saúl Menem, with the neoliberal approach of the economy, the relation with China make a shift, a very great leap. Argentina was in the 90s even in the top 10 main commercial partners, and now today is the main trade partner of Argentina, even winning to an historical partner like Brazil in the 90s. And in 2013 or 10, Argentina signed a deal with China, an agreement of integral strategic partnership, which has deepened the relation between Argentina and China. This was in the 2010, 2010, 11, in the government of Cristina Fernandez Kirchner, and the the liberalization of the Argentinian market to the to the to the to the to the Chinese exportations. Uh, it's a coincidence in the 90s with the new technologies of the agricultural sector in Argentina, uh, which made the soja. Here we say soja, the soja, in one of the main exports of Argentina. So now Argentina has as one of its main market for his agricultural products, China, and there are many axes of cooperation right now. And just a few days ago, we have another historical leap that was the the joinment of, or the entry of Argentina to the Belt and Road Initiative.
John,
That's
from
to be short.
yes, please.
No, that just to be short, I end the, the question.
Yes, I was thinking maybe you complete your sentence. I'm going to the more specific question. Please tell us what is the role of South Atlantic in the strip and the route specifically in the city of Ushuaia.
Ushuaia.
Ushuaia, excuse me, for
Ushuaia. There are even the Argentinians don't know how to say it, so don't
oh,
worry. It's a Native
since
American. It's a Native American name. I forgot the meaning. So well, there is a strategic decision of the Argentinian government in to make Ushuaia in the main port of the South Atlantic and the southern cone, basically through the agreements with China. Uh, the idea is to improve the installation of the Ushuaia port. And well, the south, well, Ushuaia, for those who don't know this, is up to the Beagle Channel and 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 the Magallanes channel. So it's practically the only port of Argentina to the Pacific. So this information that is not very known for the general public and even specialists that in the reality Argentina to have a, a port in the Pacific Ocean.
okay
And
now.
well, we have near like the Antarctica, we have the Malvinas Island, the Falkland Island. Another thing that I forgot to talk about the the late relations between Argentina and China is that China supports the demands of Argentina for the return of the Falkland Islands to the Malvinas to Argentina. Malvinas Island was taken by the British in 1833 by the force by a war fleet that expelled the Argentinian inhabitants. And well, China now supports the demands of Argentina for the returning of the Malvinas Islands to the national territory. And I think this also is the answer of China to the action by the British government in Taiwan and in Hong Kong, that was in open challenge to the Chinese authorities, a direct challenge.
Now, Juan, you said now China and Argentina at the 50 years anniversary of its relationship, and Argentina entered to the Belt and Road Initiative, the China's largest economic initiative. Now,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask one question. Is much speaking about on the Argentina and China relations. Uh, which, how does the lithium reserves stand with the new agreements of BRA?
It has a lot to do because Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia are the lithium triangle. They are the three countries with the most known reserves of the lithium, and we all know that lithium is the main or will be the main if it's not known the main element for the technological industry. And with Chile, many don't know Chile is also member of the Belt and Road Initiative. So we have two countries. Bolivia is also in negotiations with the Chinese the government, and the Belt and Road will facilitate the connectivity to the lithium reserves in Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile. Chile, Chile, Chile having direct Pacific ports, and now Argentina joining the BRI, and Bolivia will be benefit from the improvement in infra, infrastructure of Argentina and Chile. So it's a very interesting topic, and we are entering into a geostrategic uh, neurological point, and one and I will wait or look to the Washington response, but it hasn't said anything yet. The North American officials, except some focal complaints.
Could you hear me, Juan?
Yes, yes.
Now, if China, Argentina enter the BRA, it means Argentina will get the benefit and China also will get a benefit. But I'm going to ask about the disadvantage. Which strategic infrastructure in the Argentina are at stake with under the new agreement?
Well, several. The Argentinian government sent a 10 infrastructure works plan. There are 10 objectives. There are two uh, bridges to be built up in the littoral region. Those are Santa Fe Paraná Bridge that connects two of the most important agricultural provinces, which are Entre Rios and Santa Fe. And the other one will be the second bridge of Chaco Corrientes, because the 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 current bridge of Chaco Corrientes, the Belgrano Bridge, which is the most important in the northeast of Argentina, and the most important and one of the most important works infrastructure in Mercosur, in the southern core, is now collapsed. So, and the idea also with the new Chaco Corrientes bridge is for the bridge to be a ferrovial train that will be also a bridge with uh, with railways for the trains. We have also in the strategic plan for connectivity China-Argentina, we have the Belgrano railways that are for agricultural products, and the Urquiza for passengers. We also mention Ushuaia in the southern Atlantic, or better say in the Pacific also. And we we have also the connectivities with uh, the roads with Chile that will facilitate the connection Argentina China through Chile, and there are many other projects, but these 3 or 4 are the most important, because they have to do with the connectivity of not only people, but also uh, commodities, because we know the commodities are the main uh, motive of the Chinese approachment. I'm I'm not saying that in a negative or in a derogative form, because I think that the relation between China, Argentina, and the countries in the region is very positive in almost its angles.
Yes, Juan. Now we're talking, I think, now about the BRA and China's Argentina relations. Let me ask about another question. There will be an electoral super cycle in Argentina in 2022. So, what is the future of the South American connectivity after this electoral super cycle in 2022?
Well, I think that these years, if the public opinion polls are true in the analysis of the reality, I think that the possible progressist governments uh, will reverse the regional integration. Today, the regional integration of the South American countries is like in stalemate. Uh, I think that the Belt and Road Initiative could also helps to robust the regional integration and the connectivity in infrastructure. China was one of the main supporters of the bicontinent of the continental inf- uh, infrastructures to connect the Pacific ports uh, with the Atlantic est- countries, mainly Argentina and Brazil, and the inland countries which do not have an access to sea. Those are Bolivia and Paraguay. So uh, I think that if the left wing wins this super electoral cycle this year, or the progressists, uh, it, the forces, those are mainly are Lula in Brazil, and Petro in Colombia in second place. Uh, I think that if the progressive force wins this super electoral cycle, it will be very positive for the South American connection and connectivity, and will be also very interesting for China to enter in negotiations with more if, favorable governments, because the conservatives governments in the region have always more look for direction from Washington, and now we have progressist forces in the region which are uh, more prone to multilateralism and multipolarity.
Thank you, John. Now, there is several questions from audiences. Let
Okay.
me let me ask you. There is Cristina Fernandez. She asks for Argentina, what are the benefits of the nuclear power plant agreement with China? Do you have any?
Many, yes, or that's a simple one. Argentina is a country which have a energetic deficit. It's one of the in the budget of the Argentina incomes and outcomes. Uh, the energetic deficit is one of the main reasons for the Argentinian uh, deficit in the interior of the country, because one thing that is certain and that we have to mention is that the energetic policy of the Nestor and Cristina Kirchner the governments was very mad because the government didn't invest enough in the energetic infrastructure, and we are now lacking of the power energy because the demand is over the capacities of the electric infrastructure and other. So the main benefit will be to reduce the energetic the deficit usage. And to finish, um, I, I read just a minute ago that one of the requirements of the new IMF agreements with Argentina is that Argentina reduces its energetic deficit, and I think that the nuclear power plants will help to reduce this deficit and to improve the to a more green model for Argentina.
Emily Melenke. Argentina also formally joined the Belt and Road Initiative earlier this month. By joining BRI, what kind of geopolitical gain do Argentina will get?
Anyway, it's a complementary. Argentina-China relation is a good relation because it's a complementary one. Argentina has a lot to offer to China, minerals, food, and, and and China have has technology and infrastructure to offer in the case of the BRI initiative. Uh, so the geopolitical game will be to have more connectivity uh, with with the Pacific, not only uh, with China itself, but with the Pacific basin, because you you live there, you know you can watch the most dynamic ge- geoeconomic area of the world is the Pacific Ocean or the Indo-Pacific, or you can call it the way you want, but the Pacific region is the most dynamic geoeconomic zone in the world. So Argentina not only gains with its relation with China, but with the overall regional dynamic. For example, with the ASEAN. So it's very interesting. It's it's the greatest leap, or the Argentinian leap to to the Pacific. The Belt and Road Initiative is the ultimate bridge of Argentina to the Pacific, a country which have a cultural and geoeconomic Atlantic uh, uh, and West tradition now is looking to the East and the Pacific. Is also a cultural change.
Role over the Falkland Islands malmits in the country's relations with the United Kingdom. You already mentioned this question. I think maybe you can if you have more additional information, you can talk on.
Y- Yes, it's we we can make the futurology, but it will certainly China uh, will have a significant role in the Malvinas issue because we have two actions or uh, recently diplomatic moves. Uh, the diplomatic and official support of China to Argentina in the Malvinas case that will be certainly will be present in international and, and multilateral forums like the G20 or CELAC or other important forums that those this is a very important diplomatic support and if China invests in the South Atlantic and the southern regions of Argentina, inusually will a great pressure for the British interest in the South Atlantic and the Beagle Zone. So it will have a key role because for me the UK has put itself in a very hard position against China in the with the AUKUS agreement with the events in Taiwan and Hong Kong. So the Chinese diplomacy can't look the other way and has to make a similar response like we had uh, we say represalia. I forgot how to say it, but the Chinese government has the opportunity of compensate or counterbalance the British influence in the Pacific with the present in the South Atlantic Sea.
Robert Smith. Establishing close ties with China will lead Argentina to active involvement in the ASEAN Pacific region. If yes, what will be the response of the US? United
Yes,
States.
of course. Let's see. First, already very present in Asia and the Pacific, in diplomacy, in economics, uh, has developed the recent decades very close ties with Asia and the Pacific regions. And the other part of the question was which was
What is the response of
ah
the United
the
States?
the U.S. response. United States will obviously and of course has many responses, but the main but it's not a question of Argentina Asia relations, but it's a question of Argentina in the relation with its neighbors. the the traditional policy from the USA for the Americas, it's to have a divided neighborhood, or a divided Latin America. We will see that to to a, to a short case, Bolsonaro and Fernandez in Argentina, or Bolsonaro government in Brazil towards Argentina. It has been very hostile, and a- another form to contrast Chinese and other countries' initiatives to towards the region is to contrast these actions through bilateral agreements. For example, here we have the alliance of the Pacific, that yes, they improve the Pacific countries of Latin American, improve the relations with Asia, but it has worsening the relations with the other countries in the regions, those who have a Atlantic coast. So United States always plays the policy in distinctive uh, uh, strategies of the regional disintegration. For example, CELAC, which was the one of the most interesting regional forums when 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 Bolsonaro came to power. Brazil left. We a few years ago have UNASUR, which was a very interesting regional project, an autonomous one, and the super or the neoconservative wave of the early 2011 destroyed the UNASUR. So it's much harder for Argentina and the other countries of the region to organize strategies to China and the Pacific region if his own region is divided. Hope to.
Let me another question. Yes, Olivia McDonald. Argentina has confirmed it will use Chinese Hualang 1 Tech for its Atusha 3 nuclear reactor. Can such confirmation be read as the beginning of the development of these nuclear weapons? Do you see is any relations between the question?
No, and because Argentina has already decades ago the capacity of makes its own nuclear weapons. Like in the 70s and the 80s, Argentina has already the, the capacity of to develop nuclear weapons, but for a political and geopolitical de- decision, the governments of Argentina regarding their political signs, if they are left, right, or center, they all reject the the idea of Argentina to have nuclear weapons. Uh, so the question doesn't have sense, because if Argentina wanted to have nuclear weapons, it will have it years ago, and not with the Chinese technology. And second, regarding the first, the political decision of Argentina to not develop nuclear weapons is also signed in an agreement, the Telco with Brazil. It's there are many. It's a discussion very long, and to have it to another day. But there are many regional agreements in South and Latin America that consecrate the region as a region free of nuclear weapons. So the development of nuclear weapons is out of the question for for Argentina. Not only now and in the future, it has never been a a discussion or a decision to make from Argentina. Is has never been weapons, and and it's also against the development of nuclear weapons in its own region.
Yes, next one. Amelia Evans. What is the latest situation in negotiation between Pakistan and Argentina about Chinese-made JF-17 fighter jets? Will Argentina acquire JF-17 Thunder fighter jets from Pakistan?
Well, let's see. It's in discussion. The the final answer to that will be it depends on the Congress of Argentina, and the Congress in Argentina. Well, first, it's a possibility. Uh, I I don't think personally that it will happen, uh, because the Congress in Argentina is not functioning in very well. But in March, we start in Argentina the legislative year, or the parliamentarian year. It starts on March, but the short answer is depends of the new budget of the Argentinian government, and that depends on the Congress and the parliamentarians. But it's a possibility. The other possibility is the MiG 35 from Russia. Air, the third possibility, it's the possibility which I I think is that there will be no new jet fighters for Argentina, because in the recent past, Argentina uh, reject from internal political reasons, mainly with linked to the budget. Very good offers from many countries to rebuild up their air force, and I don't think that Argentina will have new new fighter jets in the short term. But if if I'm wrong, the possibilities of the Chinese fighter is 50%. It's in parity with the Russian offer, but
Juan,
it's very it's very probable.
Juan, what is the details? Why Argentina directly didn't acquire this fighter jets from China, but go to the
There are
Pakistan?
two
Which
reasons. Two
Pakistan offered
reasons. Two,
this option?
uh, because first, I think that is the main reason with political decisions. There are many, even in the governments, that uh, they are very afraid of the reactions in Washington. Without doubt, the main reason of Argentina to reject good offers uh, for the armed forces or defense proposals such as the Sino-Pakistani jet is economical. The budget. Argentina in the recent years don't have an stability in the economical aspects, and this obviously conditions the other policies such as the defense policy and strategy. So the main reason is economical, and some government officials are also afraid or of to make Washington angry. But the main reason is the economical. It's because Argentina hasn't got economical and financial stability like a decade ago. From 2011 to now, the the financial situation has uh, been very bad. Even if every year Argentina has more and more exports, but the governments those that is in the commercial aspect, but in the financial aspect, Argentina is not doing well from a decade ago, and and that conditioned the investment in the armed the forces and in the defense, and conditions the incorporation of not only those jet fighters, but all the purchase of any jets from any country.
Juan, I will ask one question. If about the response of Washington, if Argentina instead of China acquire these jets from Pakistan, the Washington's response will be softened.
No, I think rhetorically it will be very hard. Uh, I I don't know which answer from Washington to expect, but Washington has many ways to pressure Argentina. Uh, It has the IMFS, and mainly it has other countries. It's just what I was told you a minute ago. The Washington always use another countries in the region to make problems for the other neighboring countries. The I think that the North American response will be to improve the relation with Brazil, or to pressure uh, with Brazil. It has always been the main idea of the South American policy of Washington is to has separated or to confront Buenos Aires with Brasilia. I think that the North American response is to use Brazil against Argentina, and there are many other tools. The IMFS is the main tool, and we are very worried. Also, I think this initiative of the Belt and Road is very positive from Argentina, but and we are also worried that the Washington response will be to make problems with the agreements with the IMFS, for example.
Okay, I have one last question. Philip Garcia. China's military-run space station in Argentina played a key role in landing and spacecraft on the dark side of the moon, according to the Chinese media. Will it poses a threat to the neighbors? Neighbors? I think the Argentina's neighbors.
Hmm.
Yes.
No, it hasn't, because it's mainly for spatial and and scientific use, so it's not any threat. I think there is in Argentina and in the world many mythology about the space station in Neuquén. There's, some even think that the Chinese invasion of the continent will land there. No, that there is no even the remote chance of the Neuquén station to be using a threatening way against Argentina's neighbors and any country. Is mainly technological and spatial use, and it will be it will be very funny that because it doesn't make sense, because the hypothetic bellic theater for China is in the Pacific, not in the South American Patagonia. So it doesn't make sense. It's not of any threat.
This is a commercial space base, am I right?
Yes, a network and a spatial and technological. This like is not of a military use, but the the, the contrary answer, which I do not uh, reject, but it's very it's very relative, and I d- I don't like those kinds of answer because I hate when all is too relative. Nowadays, all is a weapon. Information is a weapon. Networks are a weapon. I can hack a country. I I can I can make more damage as a hacker than all squad of, I don't know, special este, ground troop forces. Uh, Nowadays, everything could be a weapon because of the technological development of the humanity, but even that, I don't think that the answer has anything to do with Neuquén and its special station.
Juan, lastly, I'm going to ask one general question. Now, China and Argentina developed new relations at the anniversary of 50 years of the bilateral relations. Argentina entered to the Belt and Road Initiative, signed it, and also you have the nuclear power plant here, and there is I learned now from the question also I think the space station developed by help from China. So when we thinking about this, the close relations increase between Argentina and China, how we can evaluate these relations in the context of the U.S.-China competition, especially in the Asia-Pacific or in the Indo-Pacific region.
Well, Argentina is another battle. South America, it's a region, is another chessboard. Uh, Argentina is part of the chessboard where the ultimate game is playing out. And, and in the case of South America, China is winning because the economic influence in China is now bigger and bigger. Just to cite three or four examples. Well, Argentina, uh, the its main commercial partner or second, depends on the analysis, is China. Brazil, even with all the things, the actions that the Bolsonaro government did and talk against China, uh, Brazil is consolidating as a China partner. Chile, a traditional uh, pro North American country in the region, and a neoliberal is member of the. And the final example is, uh, I have read that a days ago. I think that is on Bloomberg, the website. Colombia has now China its main commercial partner. In Colombia, traditionally a very uh, a very critical country for the United States security strategy. So the the economic chessboard is now, or it's now in the upper hand of China, but the the problem or the things is what if the competition becomes more harsh. We are talking in the sense of some even a minimal military action, very punctual. Uh, I think it will be very complex. In Latin America, in South America, uh, has the problem be, because it's too close with two competitors right now. My answers will be that also the region has to development more lateral and multipolar relations with another blocks on in the world, such for example ASEAN, Africa, Eurasia, the Islamic world, because the competition will be very hard, and and one way to contrast this new bipolar world is to look in the size in the map of the world and search for new partnerships. But the answer you ask, but the question you ask is not easy uh, for South Americans and Latin Americans, because the politics to is always very linked to Washington, but now the money is with China, so it's not an easy answer for the countries in the region.
Thank you very
But
much.
there are options. I think that we have to search all the countries in the world to contrast and to counterbalance this new bipolar competition, is to search for the multipolarity and to in some way to reboost the non-alignment movement, or to make a similar initiative for the 20th century, for the 21st century. I'm sorry. I think that is the more general answer. In the practice is not easy, but it has to be done.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you very much. You enlightened
Thank you,
us already
Lokman, for the
about.
invitation.
Thank you very much. Yes, tonight we connected with the Juan. He's from Buenos Aires, Argentina. He talking about the China
I'm
and
not from Buenos Aires. I
which
live in
country
Buenos Aires.
you are living. Oh, I'm sorry.
Argentina is very big.
Yes, I think it's the
Yeah.
second biggest country in the Latin America
Yes, yes. First
after the
is Brazil.
Brazil.
Uh, I'm Correntino.
Yes, yeah, quarantine. Yes, we're talking about China and Argentina relations today. It is very important. Latin America has evaluated the North American backyard, and now China's influence growing in the region. Argentina, one of the another country, now entered the Belt and Road Initiative. Thank you for my audience also for watching us today and asking the question. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your networks. And see you in another upcoming Asia Pacific shows.
Bye bye. Thank you, Lokman. A pleasure to be here.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you very much.